after your kitten has been fed and stimulated for elimination, and sometimes just periodically, they're going to be dirty, and it's going to be time to clean them and your nest box. So when the time comes, of course, the nest box, everything will need to be taken out and washed and disinfected, and you'll be able to wash all of these blankets for them. The reason for this is, of course, when they eat, oftentimes they'll get bubbles of food down their mouth and chin. Even if you wipe them off right after, they might burp things up from time to time. They are just babies. And when you're stimulating for elimination, sometimes things will just kind of stick in their fur around their butts. And if they have diarrhea, they may also just have little deposits of stool or fecal matter in their blankets or around their nest box. And at all times, you want your kitten to be kissably clean from the tip of their nose to the tip of their tail, and that includes their little derriere. So take out everything from your nest box, get that clean. Sometimes I'll have a backup box, like the cardboard box, where I can put them in with some clean towels, again, not this kind, but the baby kind, and let them sit in there while I get them prepped for their own bath. Now, when I say bath, I do not mean put them in a tub. Never, never put a neonatal kitten in any kind of standing water. They're going to get essentially a sponge bath. They're going to get a washcloth bath. Personally, I like to use a little pink one. Makes me think of a mama cat tongue. You'll use this in little dips of warm water, and you're going to give them a little tongue bath, just like a mama cat would. And you're going to stroke them, change it out when it gets dirty to another little corner, and you're going to wipe them down on every little square inch of their little teeny weeny body. And of course, again, they're a kitten. They're going to squirm, they're going to fuss, they're going to wiggle around. Sometimes mama cats will really just put a paw on them and pin them down and give them a bath. Now, you're not going to squish them. You're going to hold them. You're going to wash them between all their little toes, wipe their little nails, and you're going to make sure that every square inch of their little body is kissably clean. And you're going to do it with nothing but warm water. You don't want to use any kind of cleanser on a neonatal kitten. They're just too fragile. And with that, as you're wiping them down, you're going to be able to start seeing things when their fur starts sticking to their body, especially fleas. If you ever find a flea on their body, these need to be manually removed, and you're going to be doing it with your own 2 hands. Never use a flea comb or any kind of flea chemical on your neonatal kitten. If you find a flea, you're going to pull it off, and you're going to want to kill it any way you can. That way you don't have any fleas coming back. Fleas on a neonatal kitten can cause them to become anemic. It's a loss of blood, and it can kill the neonatal kitten. So when you find fleas, if you find them on their face or anywhere on their body, you're going to just pull them off, and you're going to get rid of them, and you're going to go back to keep cleaning their tiny little body on every square little inch. And of course, I usually do their little bottoms last, because you don't want to wash their butts and then wash their face. That's just kind of logic right there. And do make sure that they've been stimulated before you do this, or they may pee all over your washcloth. And then, of course, you want to check around their ears while you're doing this for things like mites. Mites are going to look a lot like dirt inside of their ears. You may also, when you're washing their ears, see blood. If you see blood in their ears, those are mites, and you're going to want to check with a veterinarian on the best course of action. It'll depend on the level of the mites. Anytime you see blood on your neonatal kitten, that's a good time to go and talk to the veterinarian. And when that's done, now they're all cold and wet. The next thing you need to do is get them warm and dry. Personally, I like to use my body heat. If you ever see me at an animal shelter, don't hug me. I might have a kitten in my jacket. And I'm really not kidding. I like to take neonatal kittens and I will pop them in my jacket to keep them warm and put them up against my heartbeat. That will help them get warm and dry at a normal, natural rate. If you do not have the ability to do this, if you have lots of kittens in your litter, you can go back to the rice pack and the sock thing, right? You take your rice pack, you get a little bit warm, not too hot, check for hot spots, wrap it up in a towel, and you can help put that next to them, keep them from rolling away from it, and then get a different clean towel that's dry. And then you can continue to start drying them off while they have something warm against them as you dry them off. You don't want them to get too cold to where they will start to shiver, and you'll see them start to get cold and shiver. That's why you use warm water while you bathe them, and you introduce a heat source as you start to dry them off. Once they are dry, you'd never want to put them back into their nest when they're still wet, but once they are dry and you've got them warm, you can bring back their nest box. Now that it's all clean, I'll put my kitten back in. I'll get my hot pack. I'll put my hot pack under half of it. My kitten is dry and it is ready for a nap. And that is what we need to do to keep our kitten clean and healthy and safe.